Good morning, everybody. It is 10 o'clock, so we're going to go ahead and get started here. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Sam Greasy. I'm the Territory Manager for GROEBNER. I cover Illinois, Missouri, and Kansas. Welcome to our GROEBNER Supplier Spotlight. Today we'll be talking about the benefits of using the SENSIT PMD2. Presenting for us today is Nick McKibben and Rich Stocker. If you have any questions through the presentation, feel free to add them into our Teams chat. I'll be monitoring any questions and we'll be sure to cover them during the presentation or after. Now I'm going to turn it over to Nick and Rich. I have a quick bio regarding each person. So Nick McKibben has 20 years of experience in the natural gas industry. He joined SENSIT in 2024 and currently serves as the Midwest Regional Sales Manager, supporting SENSIT's purpose to protect life, property, and the environment from hazardous gases through their leak detection product and solutions to customers in his region. Rich Stocker is a seasoned industrial professional with nearly 40 years of experience in the natural gas industry. He spent the last 23 years with SENSIT Technologies, currently serving as a Central Regional Sales Manager, where he works closely with gas utilities, fire services, HVAC, and industrial customers to support SENSIT's leak detection, safety, and infrastructure monitoring solutions. So with that, Nick, I'm going to hand it over to you. And like I mentioned, I'll be monitoring the questions.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Sam. Appreciate everyone's time this morning. Just first want to start off by saying thank you to GROEBNER for all you do to support the gas industry, including hosting these webinars and giving us SENSIT an opportunity to present on one of our products, the PMD2. So Rich and I are really looking forward to providing an overview of the unit itself today. We'll talk about the operation. We'll talk a little bit about the technology that drives it, the TDLAS laser technology it uses, and the benefits that provides to you, the users, and then ultimately kind of discuss how the PMD2 supports, leak survey crews with, conducting faster, more efficient leak surveys. So that's our goal today. So Rich and I are kind of going to tag team the presentation a little bit. So I'll talk for a bit and then hand it over to Rich. But like Sam said, if you do have any questions, just go ahead and put those in the chat and we'll try to answer them as they arise. And I'm tasked with driving the screen. So just a little brief history about SENSIT for anyone that's maybe not familiar with our company. We've been around since the 1980s. Obviously, we're a global leak detection and leak detection equipment and solutions manufacturer. And while manufacturing leak detectors is what we do at SENSIT, if you ask anybody that works for our company what our purpose is, I mean, they're going to tell you it's simple. It's to protect life, property, and the environment. So that's really what we pride ourselves on, that principle, and we strive to be an industry leader when it comes to our customer service, support, and the products that we provide. It's kind of the foundation that we're built on at SENSIT. We're part of the HOMA life-saving group of technology companies. So we have about 150 employees. We're located in Valparaiso, Indiana. So that's, geographically, that's about an hour to the southeast of Chicago. So for our customers, we're US based on everything. So all of our product design, customer service, technical product support, and service department all happens in Valparaiso. We currently have two facilities, the one you see here and another one just down the road. But we actually currently broke ground earlier this year on a new 80,000 square foot facility, which will bring all of our operations under one roof. So we're looking forward to making that transition later on this year. So why are we here? So why leak surveys are important? Obviously, survey is it's a proactive process to confirm, the integrity of your natural gas network and locate leaks. So one of the primary goals for any gas utility is to identify, a potential issue before it becomes a larger problem. So, whether you're surveying, on foot or in a vehicle, it's important to you as an operator to identify leaks before they become, a safety incident, a service disruption, or a regulatory issue. So you and your operators can take the, appropriate corrective actions sooner. So, and in a regulatory environment with, increased focus on emissions from natural gas networks, utilities and operators are facing constant pressure to meet safety, compliance, and, operational goals. So, natural gas leaks can come from a variety of different sources, whether that's, corrosion damage, natural force damage, excavation damage, etc. So maintaining the integrity of your piping system is key to any utility, and why survey work or surveys matter. So the mission is critical, but instruments themselves don't always make the job easier. So having the right product that meets the bulk of your needs is important to you as an operator. So traditional leak detection equipment may have a slow startup, depending on the technology that's being used. IR technology, like with our previous generation of product, could have a longer warm-up time from several minutes to beyond 10 minutes to actually to warm up. So, and then having heavy equipment, if you're a person that does walking leak survey all day and you're wearing that equipment around your neck or slung over your shoulder all day, every pound matters. When you're the operator that has to wear that unit all day and carrying it around, having a lightweight piece of equipment puts less stress and less fatigue on you and your body. And then, battery life is also a crucial factor in the products that you guys use in the field. So, you want a battery that lasts, above and beyond a full shift. So you're not constantly having to, swap out batteries or stop a survey to, recharge a battery. You want to be able to survey efficiently and continuously with, no concerns that your battery is about to die. And then finally, data logging is an important piece of any survey. You want an instrument that gives you the data you need without having to, manually record the data or pull out a map and a highlighter to chart, where you've been. Having an instrument that can automatically do that for you, can record your readings with data logging, record where you've been with GPS. Those features and functions allow you to focus solely on the survey and your system. So it's important. Those are all important aspects to conducting a faster and more efficient leak survey. So the product that Rich and I are here to talk about today is our second generation portable methane detector, our PMD2. So just like the slide says, it's one instrument to survey, grade, and quantify a gas leak. So, based on a gas leak's location, the hazard potential, the readings, it gives you a tool as an operator you can use to take the appropriate safety actions and set the repair priorities. So, the next slide we'll cover is just kind of highlight some of the main some of the main methods for using a PMD2 in the field. You can see the first, obviously, is to do a walking survey. So, you have a pump-driven instrument You have a survey probe attached, and you monitor the surface sample. So, obviously gas is lighter than air. It vents to the surface, and the PMD2 is measuring those surface reads, on the unit, on the display. And then, so when you're doing a survey and you get an indication that in that low level parts per million range, the next step is to determine the severity of the hazard and the potential leak. So we need to, at that point, go from above grade to a below grade subsurface reading. So the next image just kind of highlights the centering and pinpointing. So we're going to find out, the spread of that leak. We need to check the readings underground and need to be able to read in percent gas in air, which the PMD2 does. It does have a bar hole mode feature built into the firmware as well. That's a convenience feature that gives you the live gas reading, the peak reading, and then a time test as well. And then, with centering, you want to try and find out the spread of that leak, how it's spreading. So like I said, the surface readings is just telling you where that gas is venting at, which can be completely different from the spread of the leak. Now, pinpointing tells us where the actual leak is at, or the highest concentration. So that's what we mean when we talk about centering and pinpointing. So it's really a versatile instrument, the PMD2, where you can do both walking and below ground or bar hole testing with a single unit. It can also be used to do mobile surveys. The PMD2 can be used with a mobile kit, which is commonly used with an external pump and drop cones that are on the front of a vehicle or a ATV, for example. So we fully intend to have the PMD2 available for driving surveys as well. And then we do have some new products on the horizon that can be used in conjunction with the PMD2 to give you a volume sampler for accurate, quantification of methane emissions. So we'll have.
Hey, Nick,
Yeah,
I just thought I'd jump in real quick on some of the clarity, because as you guys take a look at these pictures here, it can be a little deceiving when that one picture that is labeled as quantifying. We actually quantify and classify, as you guys can see with a bar hole probe in the second picture from the left. The coming soon quantifying that we're explaining in that particular picture is determining flow rate. Not a huge factor in the industry right now. I know it was being considered before the new rules kind of went away with the change in administration in Washington, D.C., but we have developed, and with the simple firmware upgrade on the instruments and an added device, we will be able to, with this device, be able to determine flow rate of leaks as well. Sorry to interrupt.
No, not a problem at all, Rich. Thanks for the clarity and additional information. And so with that, I'm probably going to hand it over to Rich. Actually, that's probably a good segue, Rich. So Rich is going to take us through some of the key specs on the unit. So he's going to talk a little bit more about the TDLAS technology and the benefits, that provides. With that technology, you can be up and running and doing a survey in about 60 seconds to start up the unit. We're going to talk about methane selectivity and the benefits that provides you when you're doing a survey, eliminating cross sensitivity that you can experience with other equipment and technologies, and that also eliminates the false positives. So you're not out there chasing ghosts in the field. And then we'll also talk about the simplified reporting and all the different data logging and GPS and capabilities that the PMD2 has. So it can be used in conjunction with our latest software to simplify the reporting that you guys have to do for your regulatory commissions. So with that, Rich, I think I'll shoot it over to you.
Sounds good. One of the key aspects of the laser-based technology is a very fast warm-up time. We're at a 60-second startup as optics have filtered into the industry and have slowly been replacing flame ionization technology and other technologies for sensing low-level gases. The laser, the big advantages to the laser is, first of all, the speed in which it warms up. If anybody's used the infrared absorption spectroscopy technology in the past, our PMD, our previous generation instrument utilized that. It could take up to 12 or even 15 minutes if the instrument was left out on a vehicle in the cold weather to get up to critical temperature and then to zero. So we're very, very quick as far as warm-up time goes. Nice thing about it, the onboard battery should give us a minimum of a 12-hour continuous runtime on the unit itself. We incorporate GPS on board. There's in what we really designed into this tool is an all-in-one piece of equipment. It's not, I use this to go out and pinpoint, then I have to have a GPS device to stream the instrument information into and then upload into my mapping system. This is self-contained. It has its own GPS on board. Sensitivity down below a half a part per million of sensitivity. I think we talk about low-level sensitivity at around 300 parts per billion. Weight-wise, never really kind of hit me until you get out and start doing a little bit of survey, but having a 6-pound piece of equipment hanging around your neck or slung across your shoulders is a big difference between something that's 3 pounds. Huge, huge difference. And again, rather than having to grab for a different instrument to do your prospecting ultimately and your classification, this unit is an all-in-one deal where resolution is 3/10 of a part per million all the way up to 100% by volume on the unit itself. It'll allow the operator not only to do the prospecting, to do the classification, but you can also do investigations above ground on meter set piping, leak points on above ground piping as well, and farm taps. Basics of this unit, like everything else that we've developed in-house, we want it to smell like, look like, taste like a SENSIT Gold. If an operator can operate a SENSIT Gold, the user interface is intuitive on the instrument itself. We incorporate the A, B, and C buttons on the unit itself to again, conform to what most people that are current users of our other technology or other equipment to get into. So there's a minimum amount of training, there's a minimum amount of upstart on the instrument, and hopefully some very, very quick and easy confidence in the instrument as far as operation goes. Guys can see that, you know, over to the left side on the face of the instrument, we do have a tick wheel. So this unit can be used like a SENSIT Gold, the old gas track technology of a Geiger counter pinpointer for checking above ground piping. Our LEDs surround the display of the instrument itself. And as you guys can see on the display, we display a PPM reading to start out with, 0.0% PPM. So I shouldn't say percent, it's 0.0 PPM. So our first low-level resolution will be 1/10 of a PPM. And then indicators showing that our alarm is activated, that we have our GPS module up and running, and a fuel indicator. You guys can see the 100% up in the upper right corner of the display. That's our battery power itself. And then there's a pretty loud piezo sounder on the face of the unit. We've kind of gone away from the speakers because we want something that if an operator is out in a loud noise area, cars going by, trucks going by, you want to be able to hear any indications and any alarms that come up on the instrument itself. On the sides of the unit, on the inlet, three-quarter turn twist on the filter housing, and the filter's easily removed, and it just twist locks into the cap. Pretty simple change out for anybody that sucks water or dirt up into the unit itself. We can change that filter very, very quickly and easily. On the left side of the screen there is an exhaust filter to keep dirt and junk when the unit's not being used out in the field to keep that out. And our battery is removable as well. The batteries are chargeable, either installed in the instrument or outside of the instrument, so that in a remote area where there's going to be maybe a double shift or longer in surveying, we can quick swap the batteries themselves and be up and running, even if we exceed the performance or the timetable of the battery life on a single battery as well. One of the things that I used to gloss over a lot, but if any of you have ever looked at our manufacturing labels, if you're a SENSIT Gold user, a Track-It user, or anything else, we've got two key pieces of information on the manufacturer label. Besides the serial number, which is how we track everything as far as maintenance goes, calibration, and everything else, identifying the instrument, we have our address. That's where you ship the instrument to if it breaks. We have our phone number, and I always lightly say we put the phone number on the manufacturer label so nobody will ever call us. But anybody from the vice president of gas operations all the way down to a frontline field operator has the ability to be able to call us during what we call normal business hours, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Central Time. And we have people on staff that can answer technical questions and possibly troubleshoot and walk somebody through issues and problems with the instruments. And then we have a QR code and our website as well. On that website, we have quick start guides available for the instrument. We have instructional videos on the instrument, as well as specifications, sheets, and everything else that's available documentation-wise on the instruments as well. Easily downloadable and easily accessible. Basically, what you guys get when you order a piece of equipment is the instrument, a hard case to carry it with. This is what we would call the ship kit on the instrument, as you see above the instrument itself. So it comes with a telescoping survey probe, the proper equipment to charge the battery, a screwdriver to change the battery out, and again, a shoulder strap. We do have an accessory shoulder harness available for the unit itself, and a bar hole probe available in addition. But again, as you guys see, this is the equipment that you're going to get, and you'll get a series of extra filters as well to keep the operator running. So everything, when it comes out of the box from us, is ready to go and be able to be deployed right out into the field. The only thing you'll need to do is run a calibration on the instrument before you send it out. Big difference, and the positives of going into the technology of the PMD2, as Nick alluded to. I'll talk a little bit more in detail on how the TDLAS technology, or tuned diode laser absorption spectroscopy, works. But the big advantage of the PMD2 is it's a methane only detection. It will not see any other types of hydrocarbons. It emits a light wave that's only absorbed by the methane molecule. Therefore, you're not limited to when you can do your leak surveys based on cross sensitivity of the technology that you have and you're utilizing. Even the infrared absorption technology is very good low level in being methane selective. At a certain level, it will saturate the cell and become cross sensitive to other hydrocarbons, where the PMD2 is not cross sensitive to anything. So there's no limitations as to I have to wait until there's no rush hour traffic to go out and survey a particular area or a particular roadside. And if I'm in an area where there might be heavy contamination with other hydrocarbons, it won't limit me on that. Obviously, we can pinpoint with GPS. We share on this instrument some very similar features to the SENSIT Gold, like the bar hole test feature. Those are all documented with GPS and held in the memory itself. It's a fairly rugged design, but like everything electronic piece of equipment, we certainly encourage the operators to treat it as such. And you'll find out when we talk about the Harriet cell, which is really kind of the heart of how this instrument works, why you want to treat it as nice as you possibly can when you're out in the field. We got a great battery life on this unit as well. The infrared technology burns up a lot of electricity. And when you work with instruments that use resistance bias technology, they burn a lot of electricity as well. So we are able to stretch out and outperform our publicized specification on the battery life itself. So as we talk about, and you'll see it here in just a second because Nick's going to fire up a video just kind of showing everybody real time what it takes to fire this instrument up and get it running. But our startup time on our old PMD1, which utilized the infrared technology, can it be anywhere from 7 to 10 minutes if the instrument's in ambient 70-degree temperature? It may take longer than that. You generally under 60 seconds on the PMD2. Weight is a huge advantage. The laser array that's built into the unit is very lightweight and works fantastic. Our detection range takes us from no gas all the way up to 100% by volume. So we're not having to switch back and forth from one instrument to another. Our low level resolution, I think I mentioned before, is a 1/10 of a part per million. And we publish 12 hours of runtime on a battery. And Nick, you can fire the video up. So in a 60-second video, we pretty much ran down the basics of how to fire it up, get it ready to use, and shut the unit down. As we talk about the function of that tunable diode laser absorption spectroscopy, I mentioned previously, it's tuned to the wavelength of methane. We draw the sample into the instrument itself. The laser passes through that sample, and we have a receiver on the other end that will sense a diminishment of the intensity of the light and interprets that into a gas read. Excuse me. I know a lot of people bring up the question because this, yes, is the same technology that we utilize in what we call open path configurations, which would be the LZ30. If your folks are familiar with our LZ30, we kind of refer to that as the gas flashlight. But the big question that always comes up with that instrument is I can't quantify with it. It's only a qualitative tool. Why, with the same technology, can you quantify with the PMD2 and you can't with the LZ30? And this is really the nuts and bolts of the heart of the PMD2. Instead of just throwing that light out and utilizing any reflective source we find out in the field with the LZ30 and with a variable length of light path, we build a Harriet cell with reflective mirrors, and we have a known volume sample chamber, and we have a known path length of light, which allows us again to utilize and be able to quantify the readings on this technology. depending on how long the path length is what sets the standard for how low of a resolution the unit will read. The longer the path length, the smaller amount of gas it'll pick up. As we have it configured today, it'll pick up roughly 1/10 to 3/10 of a ppm, all the way up to 100% with the short path on the laser itself. Big pluses as far as the laser detection goes. A minimum amount of false positives. If you can focus again on the fact that it's methane selective, it will not be cross sensitive to anything as far as that goes. So it's not going to give us broadband sensitivity. That's the big plus on the PMD2. Very low level resolution as well as very good accuracy at a 2 ppm reading, plus or minus 10% of the read. It's almost instantaneous. Any of you that have used an LZ30 know that the tuned laser technology is a very quick reacting technology. And then again, we're not utilizing resistance bias sensors. We're not heating some kind of a sensor element up and cooling it down on a repeated basis. Therefore, we see a lot of drift in that technology. By utilizing light, we see very little drift. And calibrations, our standard calibration interval configuration goes out at 90 days. Again, we have field hardened it. It's in a hardened case with a rubber overmold on it. But the big pluses on this is the lightweight of the unit itself. We understand the application where it's going to be utilized, so it's going to be carried on a full day generally. We want to minimize the amount of fatigue for the operator itself. And again, the productivity side of it, quick startup, 12 hours continuous runtime. We can swap batteries, so it's not, if an operator's carrying a spare battery, there's no downtime of having to refill hydrogen cylinders in the case of the older FI technology. And it also minimizes in having to retest on a constant basis for low-level sensitivity on some of the other technologies that's available too. And then, of course, the data. Nick, do you want to take over and talk about the data capture and the calibration?
Sure, absolutely, Rich. Thanks. We are providing a tool that has built-in GPS and data logging capabilities, like Rich said. So, with that data logging capability, we can save up to, it's automatically capturing those readings on your work display. And we can set that interval. It's capturing that data rate at every second. So every second that data logging capability of the unit is automatically capturing that for you. So you don't have to, sit there and manually press the C button to save that data manually. So that data logging is a key feature of the PMD2, and I think it'll save up to like 475,000 records before it starts to overwrite the oldest one. So you really have a huge memory system available on the PMD2 and the data logging file. And then so we can add GPS to that. And so the GPS is not for like, I lost my PMD2 or I lost my CGI out in the field and now I can use GPS to go find it. So when we equip it with GPS in addition to the data logging, so what we're doing is we're automatically capturing those readings every second, and then it's going to be date and time stamped. And then you'll also get the GPS location for, each one of those readings. So it's really building, as you can see, kind of in the to the right there, where you can see that breadcrumb trail of where your tech or where you as an operator have been, how, the path you took on your survey. You can get that data off these units. So it kind of, brings you into the current technology, and really you can utilize the features and functionalities of the unit of the PMD2 versus, I know still a lot of people, they'll take a highlighter and a map and chart it, where they've been, but the technology exists to do it within the instrument, and then you can use our software. You can pull that data off there, export those readings and those files into a lot of different formats, from CSV to a KML file, plug them into your GIS or your mapping system, and really have that data at your fingertips for managing your data and managing your survey. So, this kind of just highlights what that data looks like we just alluded to. So, that GPS, it's each one of your readings is date and time stamped. So that's that data logging interval of capture rate of every second. It's recording your readings, it's recording your GPS information, and then you can use our software to pull that information off this units and plug it in to your system. So it just eliminates that manual documentation of the data from the unit. So it really kind of streamlines, if you will, your compliance and reporting that you as primarily utility operators need to do. And then for calibration, like Rich said, the PMD2 is fully compliant, or fully compatible, I should say, with our current SmartCal 360 station. So, a lot of our customers that have a SmartCal station today, there's no separate calibration station you would need for the unit. The only additional gas required would be 1,000 parts per million methane. So, there's already a port assigned on the station, so there's no reprogramming of the station or anything that's involved. It's just getting that additional gas, hooking it up to that port, and then you'll be able to calibrate the instrument right on the cal station. You can calibrate, run a bump test on the unit. All your data is managed, wirelessly through Bluetooth and Wi-Fi. So that's really one nice feature of the PMD2 and a lot of our new products, where they are doing, we are using Bluetooth technology. So that gives us a lot more flexibility on updating. If there's ever a firmware update, for example, on the unit itself, we can actually push that firmware update out to the cal station, and then once you hit calibrate on there, it'll automatically push that firmware update and that feature upgrade directly onto the unit. So it eliminates the need for you to send the unit back to the factory to do a firmware upgrade or something like that. So it really streamlines the whole process from calibration and firmware updates. And then, like I said, all your data is then managed. Your calibration records are stored on the station as well. So, and I think that's kind of all we had overall as far as the presentation goes. So I guess we'll open it up now to Sam. If there's any questions, we'll be happy. Rich and I will be happy to try and answer those for the group.
Yeah, thanks, Nick. Thanks, Rich. That was very informative, and I really appreciate it. One thing I'd like to add to them, if any of you aren't familiar with SENSIT, please get on their website, look at all the products they offer. They truly offer a product for about everything that you can look for, right, in a job site, a tool for something. And I've been working with them for 11 years, and they are a class act. They're a great company to work with. They stand behind their product. If you have issues, they help you solve it. So they are a great company to work with. So please get on their website and look a little deeper into them.